2024.
Thank you very much, Anne, for the kind introduction. We've also got Fresh and Fabian on the desk. I'll say it the right way around, don't you worry. Demo, we're in uncharted territory here. You're a little bit taller than me tonight, it seems.
Look, it's, you know, cameras here, cameras there. I just think that you obviously had an issue with your camera, or maybe your chair's not high enough. Maybe that's the issue, Ollie.
Who knows at this point? Who absolutely knows? Let's get stuck into some Clubhouse here then to kick off game number 1 here. Week 2, Playday 3 of EU League Stage 1 2024. We, of course, have Secret versus the powerhouse that is Virtus.Pro. I'm so looking forward to getting stuck into tonight, Demo. You have got no idea. I was sat up last night. I was like a little kid on Christmas trying to get to sleep, knowing that we had EUL around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's EUL. Yeah, it's especially with the orgs that we have in it now as well. Obviously, Fnatic coming in, Ollie. That's always a big name to cast. It gets us excited from that perspective. But hey, look, we're dealing with Virtus.Pro with, I mean, the way the desk talks, it's Team Adrian at the moment. That's the way the desk have been firmly, talked about. Adrian this, Adrian that. Look, I look at Secret. I look at Grubster, for example. I know that they love Adrian, Fresh and Fabian. They love that guy, and they say they want to get him on like a better gun. How do you get him on a better gun whenever you've got the Grubster there, and you've also got Jum? Are you really going to move those two away and give Adrian that spotlight? I don't think Adrian's earned that reputation yet. That's a yet, of course. He is still the rookie in the team. But look at Jum and what he's done in this time. Look at what Grubby's done in this time. You still have to look at those two as the main guys you're going to get in there and get you your kills.
You've got to give everyone a bit of space. You really have to, and that's one of the key things. And especially when you're sort of finding out about a new team and you're getting new players in, Adrian, of course, a new pickup in onto Secret. It's all well and good trialing and stuff, but there's only some things that you find out after the fact, after a few officials, after you've got a good number of scrims under your belt. And I think that's, really the stage that they're going through right now. So we will see where he starts to slide in and make himself at home on that roster. But it is by no means going to be an easy game here tonight against Virtus.Pro, a team that when you talk about maps and we say, well, Clubhouse is a very, very standard map. It's one that a lot of teams should know and be comfortable with playing. VP can often be seen as a very standard team. They don't tend to try and reinvent the wheel all too much. They are more than happy to stick with their basics and their core values, and very often carries them over the line. Looking at the bans that we've got here tonight, anything that stands out to you? We've got the 2-brow ban coming in.
Makes a lot of sense. Very strong operator for Clubhouse. Whenever you're dealing with a lot of hard walls, you're dealing with the hatches, you're dealing with the top floor, exterior walls. You want to try and delay the attackers as much as you can. And yeah, obviously Tabara can do that extremely well. It will mean that you're probably going to be forced into always picking the cake now. You need some form of denial, just anything you can to try and slow down the attackers. We've said before about Clubhouse, nothing here is going to surprise us, Ollie, tonight. It's very run-of-the-mill. We've been there, we've done that. We're not dealing with, your labs, for example, or your consulate, but we're still kind of figuring things out. Clubhouse is, very run-of-the-mill stuff. So, yeah, no surprise to see, the K-Trick come in towards Kitchen, actually. Usually you would see it around Moto, for example. But no, they're going to try and stop the Kitchen, primarily. Any impacts? They do have 2 sets of impacts. They do have some impacts, and especially with Hibana being removed, you look more toward impact tricking now as a ways and means of getting around that. Obviously, we've still got EMPs, and Thatcher's still available. Thatcher, less of a pick nowadays, especially with how many secondary EMPs are kicking around. I think that doesn't have a good secondary. Yeah. And the main thing with the secondary EMPs is that the radius is, of course, quite small. So you do have to be quite accurate. You've usually got to get information as to where that Cade Claw is before you start hoying those secondary EMPs. Secret, they do look pretty comfortable here. There's a big stack up here around Moto. We do have a pre-placed C4 inside a Kitchen. I thought June was going to drop for a second then with the way that he was running around it and the players stacked up around. But no, he's just baiting everyone there, and he's just going to make his way transition through into Lounge. Have you clocked what their comp is as well? Have you seen what they're going to try and go for? They're going to try and go for W7M with W7M plant. Well, I suppose Fury now is what we call them, but this was historically done by, your reigning world champions, where you bring the cinch, you bring the glass, and you flood church with everything you have, and you run in deep and try and plant towards the jukebox, having the glass cover with the sense. So that is going to be the goal right now. And here we go, in goes the sense. Glass is going to cover. Adrian going to run deep now. Player in towards blue. Can Adrian get this off successfully? Savage holding firm with the catapults going in as well. Is it going to stick? It looks as though it is, Ollie, and that's going to be Diffuser down in a 5v5.
A picture-perfect plan there, Savage. He's going to pick up the first kill inside of the post. Adrian a second, and making a third before he gets taken down. A double kill on the round, and VP are scrambling. They'd invested so heavily into Church. They were convinced there was pre-placed C4s for Kitchen and everything. And we didn't even see a single member of Secret step foot. Shepard going to try and bait out this defuse now, but he's got no chance. He got Savage holding from Moto, and Grubby upstairs with the cross.
Just brilliant, isn't it? It really is. You love to see it. Look, obviously, like I said, that's a W7M strat. They come up with that. But there is absolutely no shame in doing that because it works so well if a team isn't ready for it. And you looked at the way VP were set up. They were so sure that it was going to be the kitchen take because that's what Secret did last time they played Clubhouse against Ents. Remember, they opened up the kitchen, they opened up all the vertical, and then they walked in through long and set the Osta shield and tried to plant deep inside of Armory. They've completely flipped it on this head. They knew that VP would have, probably counter-stratted their plays from last week. And they said, okay, let's do something completely different. Let's do this. Brilliant. Love it.
It's the double bluff. There's only one way to get around it. If you know you've played a map and you know that a team is likely to counter-strat you fairly heavily on that, you've got to bring new things. Fresh and Fabian were talking about it on the desk. They were a little bit concerned. If Secret come in tonight and play the same way as they did last week, VP are going to be ready for it. Now, they're not playing the same, well, they've played one round. It wasn't very similar to the way they played last week at all. But how many times can they keep pulling that rabbit out of the hat? A very similar lineup for VP. They haven't changed much here at all. They're going for the same Valkyrie. They're going to pop some Valkyrie cameras upstairs in kitchen, give themselves an idea if they're going to use any C4s. They do have a C4 on the cave. We've got impacts on the Valve and the Wamai this time. So they're still going to be potentially looking toward this impact trick style of play. But we've had a full change around from Secret and what they're bringing.
Yeah, I mean, also from VP, you see the Warden be brought in. That's probably just out of fear that, hey, if they're going to run heavy smoke comps, if they're going to try and do the same thing again, let's bring the Warden in for that. I would say VP probably thought, oh, we won't need to play Warden because we went for the Ying ban. It frees up an operator slot.
Yeah.
But no, I think Secret, again, they've just read into it very well. Already that first round, it shows that they're prepared. Like, they've really done their homework in VP, and they've came up with a good game plan at the moment. But like you mentioned, they're going to go for a different change of pace. This looks to be a much more slower take, doesn't it? Where you kind of have your Brim, you have your Capitao, you're looking to pressure out specific positions. Probably towards blue, probably towards AK is what you're looking at. So it'll just be, pretty slow and standard from what we expect to see in Clubhouse. It won't be as too ferocious as what we see in the last round.
They are spending a little bit of time getting this top floor clear, and a couple of pre-placed drones maybe would have assisted in that happening a little bit quicker. That's maybe a bit too hypercritical of me, but we're approaching the halfway point in the round and hatches are getting open. So there's no major concern, and you've got the smokes on Shepard to deal with. You've only got one Nitro to worry about, so the denial isn't huge here from VP, but it does still exist, and you've still got to be mindful of it. Bit of a stack up in and around the main stairs, and Pasha just going to replace one of his caves and readjust the other, conscious that it's going to be those secondary EMPs. You're going to need a drone to get that info. There's one on either side of the panel there, so you really need to know exactly where those claws are so that you can be accurate with the toss.
Thankfully, they just have a Thatcher, so it's no brain. Just toss it and it'll get it. No problem whatsoever there for Secret, and they've already managed to get the first pick. Very, very important whenever you look at Clubhouse and all the different ways you can drop into this site. Being able to have that man advantage just means you can send one extra guy. Could it be Dirt? Could it be down Blue Hatch? Could it be Adam, Oil Pit, whatever it is. You can send them because you know you're going to be freed up with that flexibility of having that extra man. But Secret, they look as though they're pretty zoned in right now and getting the triple wall open. There goes the Thatcher and another smoke grenade as well. And Adrian's going to rush in deep and will sledge his way in. Tries to stick the diffuser. Doesn't have the Ossa shield as what he did last week, but it looks as though it's working. VP have no idea that he's in the site planting. Oh, Adrian! Pull up a masterclass.
How does he get away with that? Dan shuts him down, but it's too late. He's worried about kitchen hatch. We've got Miracle rotating upstairs as well, and there's so much vert available onto this. But who's watching inside of the post plant? We're still seeing that diffuser go down, but eventually Miracle will shut him down. A reattempt now from Dan, and a successful retake from Virtus.Pro. They let Secret get in there. They let them get the plant down, and they were happy to readjust and play retake.
I don't know how they won that retake. That retake is so difficult to win. It looked as though that probably one player from Secret just wasn't in position. He wasn't ready. That's what it felt like. The guy in kitchen should always win that 9 times out of 10. You have that vertical open, the diffuser's planted in a position where there's no blind spots. He's going to be right in the open. Yeah, very surprising to see Secret actually lose that. But
it's almost a shame that it was Adrian to be putting the diffuser down, because I think with his positioning, he may have picked up kills if he'd have just pushed in a little bit deeper and had someone come in and plant behind him.
He would have killed the Warden, he would have killed Dan. Because I think
he would
Dan
have
was
at least killed Dan.
Yeah, he was aimlessly staring at a wall.
Yeah, you sort of got to look at that and go, oh, you know, with that space finding and that ability to just sledge in under the chaos. You know, the 3-2-1 so far from Secret in both the rounds we've seen has been fantastic. It's been brilliant cover, whether it's Dokubi calls, plenty of stuns going off, plenty of sound that's masking what's actually going on here. And that assisted in getting the plant down and, of course, Sledge coming through. But VP, they certainly played patiently there. It would have been quite easy to just over-aggress onto some of those angles, but recognizing the clock and, you know, knowing exactly what was going on was certainly very helpful. We're going to see a site change now, of course, with VP winning downstairs. It forces them off to a different site choice, and they've opted for gym and bedroom. Typical approach is going to be getting in through CCTV and clearing across, and having your hard breaches try and put a bit of pressure onto a jacuzzi wall, and of course this wall into CCTV, which seems very nicely done.
So they have Miracle and the Amaru, Ollie, which is probably the operator that we have to look at from the team comp of Secret. Realistically, the only 2 ways you're using the Amaru is either in through main stairs or going up a hatch. That's really your 2 options. I mean, he rightly could just go straight in, but he doesn't have diffuser, so it wouldn't really believe me to think that that's what he's going to do, is try and get up there and go for the plant. Yeah, it's weird to see. Okay,
oh, there we go.
Now it makes sense. That makes sense.
Now it's on.
Yeah, there we go. Now it's on. So yeah, probably he's just going to go straight for the hatch and try and plant. Very plant-orientated today, Secret, aren't they?
Well, again, it comes down to 3-2-1, right? Look at what they've got in terms of making noise and in terms of causing a ruckus. We've got the Capital balls firing in from Grubby. Miracle, he's going to get himself in and get the plant down on the reinforcement. He's got wonderful cover here, and that plant will go down. It's all about holding now inside of the post. Not only that, Demo, but he gets away. He's very low HP, but he's done his job nonetheless. A swing onto the breach from Joystick takes Adrian down. The diffuser was being disabled there, but Miracle, he made himself out. But as we mentioned, he's already in position to start denying that disable. Always, he's getting the job done there. But Savage, this is scrappy as you like. Shepard, he's now trying to rotate back upstairs. Grubby is down, so it's technically 1 versus 2, but the clock is ticking, and all Secret have to do is play safe. Shepard knew where June was there, but it's not going to be enough.
Wow. I mean, what do you say? Like, it's my kind of siege, I'll be honest with you. You know, the way that they're playing, it makes you just, it gets you excited. And right now for Secret, I love what they're doing. Whenever you're against VP, who historically, and still probably are, very slow, kind of, I suppose, rigid team, would you say, where, you know, they're, VP are very just repetitive, where they'll do one thing and they'll do it so well. And I think whenever you know a team where it'll take them just a little while to adapt, and certainly VP are probably on the slower side of being able to adapt quickly, that's where Secret can take really strong advantage of the kind of the lack of VP being there and being able to adapt and see the way that Secret are playing. VP are just setting up as though like Secret are going to do some basic attacks. But no, I love the energy Secret are bringing right now.
It's anything but basic, you know. It's really throwing it out there, and you know, these are pocket strats. These aren't things that you can try well, you can try them every single time if you like, but it's easily countered if you know that it's coming. But when you don't know that it's coming and you're setting up something a lot more default, it can then be quite a problem to pivot mid-round, especially if you've not banked on having to do certain things. We saw that Virtus.Pro played with the mirror window on that jacuzzi wall. They were aware of, you know, a default take, and we had players, you know, occupying the typical locations. But realistically, you needed someone below to stop Miracle before it even started, or even better, get the kill on him while he was getting the plant down. But at that point, it's too late. Secret are in position. They have crossfires. And you're going to be very, very fortunate if you're going to try and get out and win a gunfight in those circumstances. So see what they bring us here inside of round number 4. We're going to be headed to CCTV. Oh, great C4 off the rip there. That'll teach Miracle for his slow Maverick in there with the blowtorch.
Yeah, Mavericking is a lot more difficult now since the new patch, as I'm sure people are aware. You can now see where your projectiles are going to be tossed to. You kind of get that arc now. Mavericking is very difficult because you can see the Maverick start to open up a line, and you can just take your time and angle the C4 where it'll hit and kill the Maverick as he's doing it. So yeah, Maverick's not a very fun operator with just out those changes at the moment, and Miracle, sadly, he's the one he nominated to play that role, and he's been punished for it. Joystick below just kills Savage, just a swing onto the garage, and I mean, look, VP and the gunners that they had, they displayed at Invitational how strong they are. All, you know, Joystick, it felt as though, you know, he was reborn at Invite. Because I think for a big while, it was really only Dan who we looked at VP and said, yeah, this guy's everything. Joystick hasn't really been at the races. I thought at Invite, Joystick was just here, there, and everywhere.
He's done his part in this round and maybe a little bit more. He even got himself traded there, always was there with the assistance. Adrian going to pick himself up one on the breach. Very important time to get a kill back here. It is only a 3 versus 2, so still very possible, especially if Grubby can maintain some good control here of Garage, but it looks like he's starving for info. He is very cautious of downstairs in Lounge. We can see from the silhouettes that we do have players stacked up here on site. Got one at the top of red stairs and 2 inside of Cash. So BP, they're playing very deep. They are expecting to deny the plant here. Do have a little bit of ability to do that. Of course, you do have 3 Toxic Babe canisters from Pasha, and that's going to get a little bit of that job done. A little bit of a switch around here as Grubby is going to go underneath and try and displace some of those defenders with the Ash. And Adrian, he's got a couple of tricks left up his sleeve. He can deny a little bit of area here, but he is going to have to try in and get the plant down if he wants to extend that clock. Grubby making his way upstairs now, moves through the barbed wire, gives the game away, gets caught with the impact and finished off by Shepard. Adrian now has to push through, he has to find 3 kills, picks one, down onto the second. This is very doable here from Adrian. He pulls the goo mine out, hits the reload, he's got plenty of time, he knows exactly where this player is, just got to hit his shots, but no. Pasha hits him from the backside of the Rio, floats out of the rotation, and sees it done. BP, pick up round number 4.
Yeah, Secret, they kind of said themselves, right, we can't go for the plant. We know they have the smoke. There's no way we're going to be able to break through that and get that diffuser down. They have to try and play for kills. They fire off top red to remove that player on the top of the stairs. It then allows Grubby to walk up. Grubby just 2 impacts thrown at his face, Ollie. He's disorientated and he loses that engagement. It's a big ask there for Adrian to try and kill all 3 of them. Very fortunate to get 2 of them just lined up for him, but yeah, couldn't get the 3rd, but I think just losing the initial early pick and then Savage just died. Like, as soon as you lose Miracle there on the Maverick and then see Savage die just instantly after that, you just think at that stage the round's done. You know, 3v5 on the top floor, how do you come back from that? And realistically, you don't really come back from that.
It was Doom dying for me. That was the fact that Doom got Joystick, because he knew where Joystick was, and the fact that Always was there with the trade. That was what did it for me. It was still fairly early on into the round, but you're just thinking
10 seconds left before insertion.
The way that Viperio got, the way that Virtus.Pro got that kill off onto Doom, that was it for me. And I think that you know you do struggle when the numbers go against you that heavily at the start. We go back down to Church and Arsenal now. We're going to see this side attempted yet again. Both teams 1 for 1 on it so far, so not too bad at all.
But who will it be 2-1 to? Who wins the best of 3 in the basements? Who's it going to be?
Well, there's no Glaz and there's no Sense, so we're not going to see that again. But that's a one-map thing, you know? You can't be pulling that. Although, unless you want to try and double bluff.
I'm honestly surprised they don't try the Ossa strat. You know, because you think about Adrian, you know, what he did it with Sledge. You know, he could have easily he could have worked the Ossa in and then tried to move in and go for that plant again, but they've chosen not to go for that again. I think probably just fearing that VP probably seen them do it last week, and that's the strat that they're going to be ready for the most, so they probably want to try and stay away from that. But I don't know, I think for Secret, it's just about trying to get that first pick for them in the basement, because it sets them up in such a better position if they can get that early pick. And keep in mind, I think for Secret, if they get free attacks, they'll be very happy with that. I think then you go into your defense knowing that, yeah, we're ready for this. We've got good defenses we can go for. Again, you'd expect that they'll probably have a lot more hidden, because remember, we kind of talked about, they hadn't played a lot of rounds against Ents whenever you look at Clubhouse.
Yeah, it was a 9-round game. It was 7-2, so they've not given loads away. And the good news there is that they likely know how VP are going to try and attack. So they've got a little bit in the pocket there. So as you say, it's crucial that the split's nice to them here. And that they're able to pick up 3 rounds, and that would definitely give them the best chance. Currently we're trying to remove the Evil Eye cameras, and as Flores has just screamed down our ears, he lost his explosive. It got shot on the way to said Evil Eye camera, so it's going to be something that does need to be dealt with, but the EMPs are going to start to come out now. That means the wall will be open. Savage hitting it with the drop, going to get himself into position, maybe go for a little pop flash and see if he can just try and remove that utility, but no, the C4 comes out there. VP devastating tonight with these C4s, backed up by a frag on Always.
Miracle looking to try and push in and has to try and find a kill, but those feet holds and that armor wall being open is not favorable to him, and it leaves Grubby now in a 1v5. He kicked things off with 1 kill, but 4 more of them in 30 seconds to go. Oh, that's a good pick again from Grubby. Still 3 more he has to try and get. No diffuser in hand. Will try and move in. Seen a glimpse of a player. He walks in towards Church, but look at the pings, the evil eyes.
Covered the diffuser.
Not a good time right now for Grubby, where they know exactly where he is. The smokes are coming in, and there's Always. Sprays through with Alda. I mean, again, for Secret, just... I want to see them put more pressure in Kitchen, because, like, you shouldn't be having VP just move into the back of Army and just completely shut down your push.
And especially if you're going to go Moto heavy, you need something in blue. You need to try and deal with that blue player. Yeah, I don't think we've seen anyone from Secret get themselves in and around that blue area in the bottom of those Adam stairs, and it does just strike as a bit of a shame. They've had a really nice round with the glass and the sense. That was great. And maybe you'd say that they were unlucky to lose the second one. They got the plant down and maybe the vertical cover wasn't there. Something obviously happened inside of that round that we're not privy to. But then when we see them try it again here in round 5 and the majority of players just dying inside a Moto door to Church, that's when you got to start questioning things and go, yeah, you know what? We need a little bit more of a plan if we're going to be, you know, attacking down there, because it's not even like VP heavily pressured that area. They were still nice to spread out. They just had a great ability to rotate and to get themselves into position. And like you say, it's due to the lack of cover from upstairs.
5 seconds left.
Secret just taking the foot of the gas ever so slightly, it feels. Ollie. I mean, I look at it. The rounds where they've tried these creative plans have worked really well for them. The rounds where they've tried to pick up generic and slow have not worked. That's what I'm gathering right now from Secret. And I'm really shocked that they've resorted to go for that slow playstyle. That's the playstyle that VP were expecting to go against. You know, VP, I think, for me, are the masters of repetition. I've never seen a team who can just play the same strat over and over again and always win it. Because they've always been like that. Since this team emerged back in 2018, they've always been that way, where they do one thing and they do it to the best of that anyone else can do. And, you know, to see Secret fall into that trap where they're almost trying to play VP at their own game, it's a worry.
Yeah, it really is. I was chatting to Joystick at Invite, and he was talking about a difficult game that they had with W7M, and he said, I was like, oh, you know, how did it go? And he was like, we just had to play even slower. So their option when the going got tough was that they just slowed down even more, which is just devastating. Speaking of slowing down, Joystick's not going to be doing much for the rest of this round. Gets first picked there and isn't immediately traded. They just get caught out at the top of those cash stairs, so... Nice little pinch there from Secret to get that done. It didn't really cost them anything in the grand scheme. With that cash control now, they can start to try and rotate themselves out, but you'd have to be cautious. The mirror window has been popped here.
Any C4s? Again, you could easily slot that through and catch him. We'll see if Adrian can get it off successfully. It's the impact instead from Dan. Oh, that's a good impact trick. Stops that Thermite charge again. Comes back to the Habana ban. It's almost shot Secret in the foot there, has it, Ollie? Whenever you have less hard breach options, the impact tricks are going to become more devastating. I mean, they still have they can try and get, but how has Dan gave himself up like that, Ollie?
Well, it's on now, isn't it? You've got to get the ace, and you've got to get that rotated round and get the Selma placed on there. With the mirror window already being open, it's not going to give you the worst kind of breach. But we are going to see a hop in from Adrian, an attempt at a plant here in a 5 versus 2. Surely the cover is there. Always just rotating himself in Logi. Knows something's going on in the site, but there's not a lot he can do about it. Might find himself 1 for 3, but should be immediately traded, and he is. Now a lot rests on Shepard's shoulders. Picks himself up one. Is it going to be the exit or the start of an incredible clutch? Let's find out. The Selma will be shot off the wall there. He knows exactly where the plant's gone down, but look at this post. You can see the laser just on the other side of the window frame. He knows that there's likely going to be a player on either window here. You can start to try and tap on the diffuser, but you know that the swing is going to be coming. Adrian has been in this position before, plays it beautifully from the rappel and picks up that final kill.
Yeah, big round for Secret. They needed that. I mean, VP just giving the game away. Picks here, picks there, and Secret. You have to admit, though, whenever they seen they had the man advantage and they had information on where the players were going to be positioned who were remaining for VP, Adrian's just, oh, I'll jump at the window then, I'll go for it. And they all push together. They try and focus on that plant. You know, that's one thing about Secret. The plant focus in this game is, that has been it. That's been the goal for them. I would probably say that Secret will be kicking themselves that they're not up 4-2, because I still look at that round in the basement where Adrian went in for that plant. They should have won that round. Probably should be 4-2 to Secret.
I would agree. I think you could play that round again and you'd certainly favor Secret coming out on it. Even, you know, despite the result, it was a couple of gunfights that really didn't go their way, and we don't really know yet what happened upstairs. Want to dig into the match replay and find out, and almost name and shame whoever it was inside the kitchen, or at least find out what sort of pressure they were under at that time. But an even split of the spoils after the first half for Secret is decent enough indeed. A nice 3-3 split. A bit of pressure now on these attacks. We are going to see VP, of course, switch over onto that attacking side. It's not taking us long, Demo, till we see a Deimos in the mix.
Look at the kind of difference that we see from both sides in terms of the operator selections. You know, we looked at Secret, it was very plant orientated, a lot of utility operators. VP, the plan is we kill. We kill together. That is the plan. Jackal and a Deimos is not going to make the Rover's life extremely easy. It's going to be one heck of a run that they're going to have to go through. And already there goes the first set of Jackal pings. The only issue I would have is if Secret see that there's all of this new roam hunting happening for VP and they just leave and play Turtle. Realistically, what util does VP have for an actual site execute?
Oh, Savage here gets himself a freebie. Doom as well. Job's done. Get yourself back to site, guys. Doom is going to try and get himself away here. Grubby will get taken out by Always, so not the two clean kills that they were hoping for, but they have at least got a man count advantage of one. If we do see that rotation successful from Doom, which he's going to drop Oil Pit, it's happy days. 2 C4s now to deny at this later stage of the round, and you know that there's going to be a little bit of fact-finding still going on. Doom just took an incredible amount of damage there. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if he got a little bit of friendly fire potentially there, but he's flashing a red bar right now. He certainly wasn't that low earlier on. VP now start to try and make do with what they have. They haven't lost too much. They've lost a Jackal and a Deimos, so they've lost the roam clear, but the roam's over Demo.
I mean, the roamers got hunted instead, didn't they? The hunted becomes the hunters become the hunted. But yeah, like you say that you don't lose much. VP didn't really have much to begin with.
They didn't have much to lose.
Their lineup is not strong now. It wasn't strong beforehand. They were really relying that they would get kills and have man advantage on their side. But whenever you lose the two hunters right off the rip, it's not going to be a good start for them. And they only have the ace. They can only choose one hatch. Remember, you can't go for anything else with the Selmas. You get a wall and a hatch. That's all you get. So VP are going to be really limited for options. And the fact that Secret have the man advantage, as well as plenty of denial, you've got 2 C4 still there. I don't see how VP win it. It's going to be a massive throw from Secret if they do.
Well, especially now with Savage picking the kill up onto Shepard. Miracle another. And Pasha, speaking of the ace, he's left all alone upstairs. Still worried about some sort of a roam game here. He's very conscious of stock and lounge. Look at the drone economy. In the bin. One drone to speak of. Clutches are never easy at the best of times, but with no info to go off, this becomes nearly impossible. There's only a couple of places that he can come from. And the bet is on main stairs right now. We see a C4 go off there just as a caution, I think, from one of the Secret players. Passion going to make himself into church.
5 seconds left.
Start to bait out that plan, but he knows what's going to happen if he tries to stick it. He's just going to spend the rest of the round, hit a few pre-fires, try and find an exit. Great opening defense there from Secret.
Yeah, great work. You know, good roam game, and you probably have to look at Jum right now, Ollie, in terms of the defense for Secret. I look at there's some players in the world where if you go up against them, you kind of have that fear factor. I think Shaiko kind of exudes that fear of, oh my goodness, it's Shaiko. I would say Jim falls under the category of, oh, I have to play against Jim. Not because of a fear factor, but because of an annoyance factor. Him on the roam is one of the most annoying things any one man can deal with, is that guy, just, you know Jim's somewhere, you know he's ratting around. It's just, that's the way Jim is for me as a player. He is that annoyance factor, and whenever Secret allow him just to stretch his legs and do what he does best, it's... you probably walk away scrimmaging thinking, how bored was that? That was so boring. You know, that's the presence that Jim gives off.
Typing the ZZZ in chat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does so well. I think he's one of the best roamers we have in the league, by far. I just think he knows, he's just right place, right time for Jim. It seems to always be the case for him.
Well, he's just lucky this time. Maybe he's just lucky, but
you don't roam on this site. You don't roam on this site.
No one really roams on this site. And one of the reasons he's on Castle is Castle's fantastic for Gym and Bedroom. I want to make this clear. I've played Castle on Gym and Bedroom long before this season, way before Castle had the ACOG, so, you know.
Right, it's my guilty pleasure gun.
But the ACOG addition to the UMP is phenomenal. We're going to see it played a lot more as well. See that Grubby is trying to hold on upstairs, of course. The Vector is a shared weapon. There are a couple of defenders that have it. We do have Goyo and Mirror, but fortunately for Goyo, he got the ACOG, and unfortunately for Mirror, they didn't. So, unlucky.
Good reason.
But yeah, very good reason indeed. Going to see a line open there, and a Selma charge used as well. So, really not taking any chances on getting that wall open into cash as VP set up for this across clear.
Oh, first pick goes in favor of VP. Jim goes down. The Castle, we mentioned before he wouldn't be doing a lot of roaming, but it looks as though he actually got picked off downstairs, Ollie, inside of bar.
Wrong place, wrong time, potentially.
They maybe could go. They maybe could go down and maybe hack the cameras. You know, they could get themselves into some of the defaults. That could be potential for them. It's not as though there's a Maestro or any bulletproofs that they would like to have, but sure, still something to try and get some information. Could be good for them, but VP at the moment, they're just sticking to their guns. They're going to try and sweep across. No surprises here at the moment. Secret have left the cash room, and it allows Pasha to get in and open up the construction wall now. And this is just classic VP, isn't it? They take what they want. They're going to set up for their initial final execute, and then just win the round. That's usually how we see these goes.
Something that still is in play are these Vulcan canisters. Now, we do have a Flores, so there is an ability to get rid of ones that can't be shot. We're going to see Dan jump into the Flores right about now, and it was almost perfectly on cue. We're going to see Flores get rid of that Vulcan canister, and another one gets sent out here as well, as Dan will just do a little bit more searching to make sure there's nothing else hiding away there. Just going to open that rotate into bathroom and give themselves a bit of an option as well.
Wait now and see if Secret want to try and aggress on the VP and take the fight to them and try and disrupt them, but it's not working out. VP have punished them. Pasha with 2 kills. Joystick is getting shot by Savage, but they know exactly where he is, and it's only going to be a matter of time. Savage takes a lot of damage, flashed as well. Has the glasses on, and will try and make that dash, but always is ready. That's a strong round from VP. I mean, you have to give credit to Secret there. They knew if they just sat back, VP would absolutely rinse them. They've chose let's go for the 50-50 option. We take our gunfights. If we win them, we win the round. If we lose them, well, we were going to lose anyway.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't see a bit more out of the C4s there, potentially for Secret. I think there's maybe a chance where you can get a bit more value out of those, as opposed to just trying to swing onto construction door and get something done. But they made their decision, and it was a brave one at that. VP going to come away there with the round and continue this level game. All squared up at 4 rounds apiece right now. Going to be moving across into CCTV and Cash. A slightly different lineup here for both of these two sides. Secret do need to be cautious though. They need to find success somewhere else that isn't the basement, because they can't rely on getting a couple of players on the roam and then retreating back to site. We do need to just see a little bit more success out of that early game. I think Savage was potentially quite unfortunate to get picked off there and wasn't really in a position to be traded. And that was almost the start of the downfall there for Secret.
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
VP is This is more of like, I would say, your standard kind of clubhouse util dump that we expect to see whenever you're dealing with this this cash room hold. You got the Capitao necessity for garage at the moment. I mean, Azami is banned, so you probably could forego that if you wanted to and just bring in, you know, some nades. You don't necessarily need the Capitao, but I suppose it's also pretty good for the final execute with the smokes you can get. But you're looking at the Monty. Monty, in my opinion, is probably an S-tier operator at the moment. I think with the changes to the shield where he can have full sprints in with the Blitz. RIP my beloved Blitz, because he's knackered now, he's done. But Monty at the moment, he's my new best friend. The way that you can just change from being passive to gain information to being able to full charge and rush down somebody, unbelievable how you can play those two different, you know, play styles. So Monty at the moment, very, very strong. Even the, you know, the way that you can bash them now with the shield, a lot more consistent, easy kill 9 times out of 10. So yeah, Monty for me, S2.
VP did a really good job there at opening the breach. They did have a mirror window on it from Secret, and I was expecting an impact trick, but with the smoke from Capitao, it makes it very difficult then to swing onto that and to challenge it. You don't really know what's on the other side of it. Grubby is the player that's getting pressured right now, just placing a disc just to make sure he's got correct coverage here, as knows that Joystick is going to be making their way through. That has been rather hacked, I believe, but he hasn't got all of the discs. Grubby's location is going to be known now, and he's just going to be throwing everything he's got at trying to keep alive here, but eventually will be taken out there. Dan's got a great angle from the breach, and no one feeling confident enough to still challenge inside of that cash room. You've got to give that up. Savage will come back, though, with a trade.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
I don't think VP are worried, though, about that trade, though. Always had already used his utility for the fire arrows. They've had garage control, which is what they wanted. And they still have, you know, some flashbangs that they can use in towards the top red. There isn't too much elsewhere that you can really look at. Monty didn't bring any smoke grenades, which is probably the only thing you'd worry. Secret, on the other hand, they've got C4, they've got their smokes. They've still got plenty to try and deny this plant. With 45 seconds left, it's going to be a close one. Joystick is already taking quite a bit of damage just from impacts being tossed at him. He's going to try and see if he can try and sneak a plant in, but he's going to struggle against those smokes. He's going to try and rotate over towards the main breach. The smoke will miss him, though, and Joystick will try and initiate the plant. Is Miracle aware that, yes, Miracle will smoke Joystick now, and he does get punished by Savage. Great there for Miracle. If he wasn't switched on, that could have been disastrous.
Secret doing a really good job here of playing deep and playing off the back of that utility. Pasha has got a chance at a one-on-one engagement here, but he does have a player on either side of the stairs. It's going to be Adrian on the lower portion. He picks him up with a brilliantly timed swing from the top player as well, and Miracle is going to seal the deal, picks up that final kill. Secret, patience there, really paying off for them.
Well, Secret, just slow and steady. Wins the race, I suppose. You know, VP, they took what they wanted. They wanted garage, but there's just so much utility. They probably just needed to speed. They needed to quicken up. That was probably the issue with VP, but like when you mentioned before, they are a slow team. They will move at their own pace. But hey, look, Secret, they were ready for it. They brought enough utility for it. They didn't want to play in any positions that would give themselves up. Probably bar the garage, but there's not much else you can really do with that position. You need someone to play there. Inevitably, they will die. But whenever you still have the Maestro cameras, the smokes, the C4s to fall back into, it's not a worry. Just as long as Grubby can burn for a minute 30 on some utility, he's done his job.
Absolutely. Back down to the basement we go then. There's still not too much separating these teams at all. We've had no team lead by more than 2 rounds up until this point. 5-4 here to Secret. A chance for them to put themselves onto a map point. Now back down in the basement. They had an incredibly successful roam game last time. They picked themselves up a couple of kills. They did pay for it with one of their own, but the damage at that point was done. VP going for a very similar lineup to what we saw in round number 7 as well. They are going to be really focused on this roam and trying to hunt down the roamers. They've got the Jackal and they've got the Deimos.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm a fan still. I still think they're missing a lot of key ingredients. And if they can't get the kills, which is kind of what happened to them last time, then it's an issue. And even, I guess, if Secret just fall back to site and all 5 of them are playing in there, I still think they should win it, just because VP don't have a lot of util to really pressure players. But hey, if they start getting kills like that, and there's going to be no issues whatsoever, because that's what they were after the first time they went for this attack. They wanted to get those picks. They wanted to have that man advantage. It doesn't matter then about the util if you can pressure every area off that bomb site. So a great start there for VP. And they take down that annoyance factor off you.
I can breathe a sigh of relief now, knowing that that solace has been dealt with, and well, I guess hopefully it'll do something for their drone economy. But looking up into the top right of our screens, we can already see that it's pretty dire indeed.
Not anyway, yeah.
The drones are pretty much all spent. They've got 3 left.
First helicopter.
I won't let this one slip
One of the 2
away.
roamers upstairs. That's what they need to get next.
Ooh, look at that info exchange as well. Grubby immediately taking damage. Don't forget, Deimos is the only player on the attackers that actually gets the live ping. So one of the skill factors of Deimos is communicating the location of the player that you've tracked. So being able to get that info across nice and quickly does make things a lot easier indeed. Bandit now being targeted. That's going to be Savage. Going to be upstairs. He knows where Deimos is. Ping on Deimos is slightly delayed. He gets a good portion of damage in there onto Always, but it's not going to be enough. He might be able to pick himself up this kill. He goes for the challenge, but no, he's going to fall. Grubby being down as well. This is absolutely devastating for Secret. Not the roam games they were expecting at all. We've now got Adrian joining the party. They've said, well, if it's going bad, I'm going to get myself involved as well. Picks up 1 kill. Could rotate himself back down Oil here. Certainly doesn't want to get involved with Lounge, as that's where Dan is going to be holding. Gets himself back down on site and tries to join up somewhat with Miracle, but there's more Deimos action to be had.
Oh, Adrian in the hot seat now. They know where he is. In towards AK. It's in a safe position, but look at Mr. Miracle. Will charge up the stairs. Find 1 kill, but should be traded out as his way down is going to be covered by Pasha, who will try and go for the challenge, but Miracle and Adrian win it. 2v4. I suppose it was a 2v5 to begin with. Out of nowhere.
I'm not sure how VP have allowed 2 players to just walk up staircases and pick up kills. Both Adrian and Miracle basically were shooting people in the back there because there was no one dead on the side of the attackers. You've got all this roam game, you've got all this clear, but you've got no flank protection whatsoever. And if everyone's alive and no one's watching the cameras that are placed as flanks, it doesn't matter if you got Jackal, doesn't matter if you got Deimos. You don't want to know where they were, you need to know where they are. Incredible stuff there from Secret. It's forced a timeout out of VP, and I'm honestly not surprised. Secret put themselves onto a map point here against Virtus.Pro.
Honestly, I look at VP and I think they're not giving Secret enough respect. That's the main issue, it feels like, for me. I would have said Secret last stage would never have went to try and go for a retake in a 2v5. The 2 players in sight probably just would have sat in sight and not done anything. Look at the mentality shift from Secret now and what they've been able to work on over the past 3 or 4 months. You know, that just showcased it for me. They say, right, you can't sit and do nothing. You need to be proactive. You need to be able to do something in the matchup, or else you're just going to lose, especially against VP. You cannot allow VP just to have all the control. You need to take the fight to them. Adrian got things kicked off right from the rip. Okay, that's fine if you're VP. Oh, we maybe lose 1. But to see them then lose to Miracle walking up main stairs to lose 1, and then honestly a bit of an ego challenge, it has to be said, from the player who swung on main stairs.
Yeah.
Why not just waiting for your teammate there, doubling up? You know where he is. You have him trapped. You can hold his run down. Call a teammate and then pincer him together. It's
if anyone's been watching from the start of the stream, you'll remember the telestration that both Fresh and Fabian did, and it was a VP attack from last week, and it was a circumstance where they just didn't really do the right thing. They were attacking against walls. They had a lot of information available to them. I think probably far more information available to them than they did just there in the previous round we've just seen. But they were still making these silly errors. And there's no real other way of putting them. They are just silly errors. You know, we don't expect that level of error out of a team like VP. Maybe once a map, maybe once or twice, but
once a
consistently?
Stage.
Yeah, but you could go as far as to say once a stage. But to make multiple blatant errors inside of one singular round, that's not very characteristic of Virtus.Pro. They've got a job to do now.
A really big fucking hole!
Now they'll be trying to attack onto this top floor.
Secret is just bouncing right now. You know, you look at the kills on the board as well. A lot of them having great games. Grubby 4 and 7, but you know, you look at some of the positions Grubby's been in. They haven't been too favorable. They've been the positions no one wants to play. But VP, you know, apart from Always, I would say for joystick standards, for especially Dan dance standards, it needs to be better. It has to be. But
we've not even really touched on the kills, have we?
We haven't touched the kills, but it's been a very even match. You know, really, obviously Adrian being the front runner, but I mean, we're in a situation where nobody's like stinking up the gaff. You know, we're not dealing with 1 kills, 2 kills.
That means playing bad for anyone that's not familiar with like demo slang. So stinking up, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. The gaff could be considered, you know, the house or the place that we are playing. So no one's playing badly so far here on Clubhouse. I think, as far as I'm aware, Adrian was the highest rated player coming into this playday, at least on CGG. I know that EPS is slightly, you know, can be a slight bit different, but it usually holds true. And Dan was the other, both I think 148, I want to say, or 143, one of the two. And certainly Adrian continuing in that fashion here, although Grubby is going to give himself away pretty lightly, and Joystick has some incredible timing onto Doom. He's able to take him out. This is already looking a lot better for VP.
It's a big lash out around for VP where they just want to get some kills. We mentioned Joystick. Maybe could do better, and boy, he's doing it right now.
Oh dear.
Joystick. Oh, Savage, did you see that? He leaned back in his chair. He knew he was absolutely done in that engagement. And Miracle all by himself. 1v5, C4. Nobody's home today. Pasha will get that diffuser down. And Miracle has to make that long walk up the stairs, but doesn't even get to it. My word, I mean, Joystick, Ollie just said, you know what, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, it turned into a very short walk up the stairs there, didn't it, for all that it was worth. If that's what a timeout does to VP, that's terrifying, because they just hit a timeout and then immediately hit a flawless round. Secret didn't have a look in, and it honestly barely felt like we saw a gunfight. Secret now are going to choose this moment to take a timeout of their own. Don't forget, both of these two teams are desperate for points out of this fixture. Points mean prizes. And the prize, you may ask, is, of course, the Manchester Major. So the first team, first in the league course, will qualify into the Major. Second team will qualify just into a slightly different stage, and so on and so forth. So with the table being pretty tight as it currently sits, you know, there's not a great difference top through bottom. We've only seen 1 week of play. Everyone is fighting fiercely for those points. And you just know that both of these two teams want to come away with a full amount of the spoils. A full 3 points from it is going to be what they are hoping for.
See what the game plan is for Secret. Obviously, they get to choose their defense. They can't go to the basement, though. It will have to be elsewhere. I wouldn't be surprised they go to the cache here, Ollie, because I thought it was a good hold from them, you know, using the util well. VP just took way too long to really get things moving. And they have went for the cache selection, so see how VP, if they can maybe pick up the pace. They went for the exact same lineup as what they did previously, bringing in the Monty, bringing in the Capitão, the Grim. All the util operators are here, but equally, you know, the util is also here from Secret. You got the smoke, you've got the C4s. No Maestro this time, though. Instead, I think they've opted for the Valkyrie.
5 seconds to go.
I like the Valkyrie. I like the idea of another C4. Because they know that VP are going to get control of Garage at some point. Grubby is essentially playing Garage with his life at the moment, and he's just going to try and get as many discs as he can out there and survive for as long as possible. And he did that in the previous round. With the Valkyrie cameras, with the couple more C4s, there's a little bit more potential to drop below. I wouldn't be surprised if we see construction hatch open here. And that's going to be a hot point to try and drop through and give yourself a nice little angle to try and work with. Already, Joystick going to be at the bottom of that garage door. He's got a drone at his feet. They've actually left two of the garage panels soft there. So that's going to give a really easy access. I wonder what they've reinforced instead of that, because typically you'd want that done.
Bedroom, I think, probably, because that's where I see a couple of players are going to be situated. So they might have reinforced maybe jacuzzi walls to try and slow down that approach. Yeah, it looks as though they have. So they're going to try and control the entirety of the top floor, but I think Doom, if anyone does come over there, you'll probably be surprised. You know, VP have been they want to go this way. They want to push towards the garage. They're not interested in bedroom. So that's free range there for Secret, but it's not really going to do a whole lot for them. In comes the utility dump now, Ollie. And, well, poor old Crappie, here we go again.
But one of the smokes has been caught up there by the magnets. That's going to slow down the roll a little bit. Just not confident to push in off the back of that. There was another magnet that had been placed, and previously I think we'd seen that magnet EMP'd in the other round, and then the smoke started to go through. So a bit of unfortunate timing there, or a bit of a misstep by VP potentially. Shepard is going to start to try and get this wall open though. Just managed to tank. I think that must have been an impact, or no, potentially a C4 from Asia in there to try and stop that breach going off, but it is going to get put off nonetheless. Still that heavy stack up here, and look at the work Grubby's able to do. He will eventually get taken down as he just strays too far into the fire.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Waste a lot of time though, Wally. 2 minutes gone now, and VP only have a minute to play with, and we mentioned before all the util that Secret still have, denial should I say, is they have the smokes, they have the C4s. Question is anyone from VP going to take a wander downstairs into lounge to try and deny the access of C4 operators? And, well, he hasn't necessarily went into lounge, but he's found a C4 operator nonetheless. Look at this from Joystick, proactively pushing the smoke, wasting his time. Oh no, he misses the dash, and Miracle will punish him. They were going to try and use the monkey just to walk in the smoke, stop the diffuser from ever being touched, but the diffuser has still went down. But what a retake though from Secret, as 3 of them are fallen for VP, and now Pasha all by himself has to try and stop that diffuser from being diffused, but no. There it is from Secret, a good retake, a clean retake at that. 3 players still up. What a win for Secret.
3 kills from Savage there in the final round as well. We kind of pinned him as that annoying player to play, especially when he's on that defense. He was on the Valkyrie and in the hot seat. Right place, right time for sure there for him. And a fantastic performance, top through bottom for Secret. I think they did everything that we asked of them, their demo. We saw a little bit of different in the way that they were attacking. We saw a little bit of difference in the way that they were defending. We didn't get to see too many defensive rounds last week, but those attacks, they certainly set us alight. I know that the Sense Class one really got us pumped up.
Yeah, obviously I think for Secret, they came in knowing that, yeah, we played it last week. VP would have done their homework, they would have done the research. We need to do something different to catch them by surprise. Yeah. And they done that. They done that extremely well. I said they probably should have been 4-2 up whenever you look at the attacks for them. VP today, though, just too slow. Communication seemed to be very off. You know, that one round, that 2v5, it basically killed the series for them, essentially. So, yeah, VP, again, another bad week for them.
A little bit worrying indeed. We're going to see what our desk has to say about this. We're going to send you over there, and they're going to break it down.
Thank you so much, Ollie and Demo. And I think they hit the hammer on the head, or the nail on the head, whatever you say for that. Secret on their attacks, a strong start, but we've seen different things that we saw last week.
Yeah, we saw a lot of different approaches on how to execute, and we saw them speed up and play like really, really aggressive and really fast. And then they just had a different approach completely to what they had in the first game. And it's super impressive to be seeing that from just 1 week of practice. Yeah. Because they don't have that much time to change around everything and have different win conditions, which is what they had today. And I think that even though their attacks look good, I think there are small things that they can improve even more to be even better. And I was really impressed by them today.
It's one of them feelings where you make a prediction before the game and we say, oh, we're not sure why they've gone back to Clubhouse. Like, they were a little bit sloppy, even though they did win last week. But where can they go? How can they improve? And they come out the blocks. They've gone from into a completely different game in terms of win conditions. The win conditions became pace. They became plants. They became let's catch VP off. Let's not play the same game we played last week. They tried the W7M executed to Church very first round, and I know Demo did a great job of explaining it during the cast. It's a great execute. It's, you know, everyone knew it was coming, but they executed it perfectly. And time again, 4 plants in 6 rounds on Clubhouse. But not just the plants, the timing of the plants, how fast they were. Yeah. One of the plants happened within 90 seconds. That's how fast it was. And for Secret, it shows a level of maturity that we weren't necessarily expecting. We said today was a big test. They came out with that blocks, and they didn't just pass that test, they aced that test.
Yeah, not only strategically did they do really well, they were actually 4-8 down in entry kills. That means that they've recovered so many rounds.
2v5.
Yeah, 2v5, that should first of all never happen, but still they did it. It just shows that they're recovering well. They know how to communicate, set up these mini plays between maybe 2 or 3 players and do things together on top of having the mechanical ability to back that up. Because that's something that's very, very hard. Going 1 down in manpower means that your opponent can always play the mathematical game by going basically 2-on-1 in almost all situations. So if you give yourself that entry death, it's such a big indicator on how the round will go. Secret didn't want that today.
what I'm hearing from you two is that we've almost got the recipe for a great team here with all the fundamentals that Secret have working well for them. Now, that's what we want to see from them too, right? Considering how their year went last year, we want to see them make that improvement. We want to maybe see them go to a major.
Yeah, I mean, Secret are joint top of the league. It feels very weird saying that, right? 6 points out of 6. It's literally a dream start for them. And I think you talked about it as a recipe, and they're starting, they're building, they've got the recipe to make a great cake, to make a great run at the Manchester Major.
I mean, if they keep doing what they've been doing so far, now I think that they probably won't be playing too much Clubhouse again. Either their opponents will ban it against them, or they feel like they've shown all of what they have on it already, so they might want to start trying to ban it, unless they come up with more new stuff. So, yeah, I think we're going to see more new maps from them, and I expect them to show more things. And if so, definitely a contender for the major spot.
And now for one player that you two specifically really like to talk about, that has to, of course, be Adrian. So, Fresh, please tell us more.
Oh, I mean, you've got the Adrian #1 fan club over here. I think we talked about it in the pre-match, which is how Adrian has brought more to this team than just kills. He was a big, he's managed to change his role from an entry fragger to a support player and, play it well as well. I think that's the big thing. If you look at the plants, look at how much he's doing on the plants. I know Savage spoke about it in the interview last week, how much he communicates as well. The improvement this kid has shown in the last 6 months, obviously I've had the benefit of seeing him, up close and personal the last 6 to 9 months, has been nothing short of remarkable.
Well, you mentioned a Savage interview. Luckily for you and the viewers, of course, we have another Savage interview ready to go. Good evening, Savage. We see you again, of course, as mentioned. You must be feeling good after this victory.
Yeah, obviously. It's a great team to beat, a big one of the big top 4 to beat, so that's where we want to be at, beating the top 4 to become the top 4, so yeah, great win.
Savage, it was incredibly impressive that you guys managed to change around the win conditions for this game compared to the one that you had last week. How much preparation do you guys have, and how much do you have in your little playbook? Are we expecting more spicy things on more maps?
I mean, this is a great team to prepare for, because you can know what to expect. You can play like a calm game in a way that you're not going to be catch off guard by anything they do. So you can really prepare well to these executes that we were doing and to these plans that we were doing. Just identify the triggers, see if they are doing the exact same thing. They are, then we go for it. It's the game plan that we did. We did a good distribution between ourselves to make these counter prep for them between all the maps, even though we could narrow it down to 2-3 maps. And we just came in and executed just like against Tense. That's the most important, not be flustered. Just follow the game plan and execute it. And again, just like against Tense, we executed perfectly. And really proud, even though even in the rounds that we didn't, we managed to find a way to get back on the rounds, which is the essential of the siege.
Yeah, against ENCE, in the interview after that game, we asked about Adrian and how all of that stuff works, and you said he had a lot of communication. Is he providing stuff to prepare you guys for these games as well, or is it just an overall team effort where all of you guys are involved?
No, definitely overall team effort. So we divided it by groups, so we could do each map, 2 or 3 maps each groups, and also develop some team chemistry. And yeah, everyone helped, obviously. Obviously, a certain pair got this certain map, but at the end of the day, if it was any other map, I'm sure we'd have good grades as well.
Now, Savage, at the beginning of the interview, you mentioned top 4 is the goal. It's looking really good. Next game is Wild, and not to discredit Wild, they're currently at the bottom of the league. It's really shaping up like you might make it to top 4 without jinxing anything.
I mean, we just gotta stay humble and keep doing our games. Not look too much at the score, not too much at the leaderboards. Just keep doing our thing. Whatever, if we get the win, we get the win. If we don't, at the end of the season, we'll see if we make it or not. Nothing else we can do.
Sounds like a really good mindset to me. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer our questions. We hope to speak to you again and have a great rest of your evening.
Hopefully it's a reoccurring thing again. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Some very good words we had there, but that was only our very first game of the evening. We have plenty more to come. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be right back.